Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Billy. Everybody,
Hey.
cheers. I got to go turn my YouTube off.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Hey, everybody. Hey, this is Billy, DJ Billy. How's it going? Bill, DJ Billy, DJ Billy Bill.
Yes.
How are you, sir?
How's your morning going so far, Adam?
It's good. I got a lot of stuff done already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Yeah, late night, early morning. So in the process of organizing 7 inches, as you can see all my boxes behind me. So,
7 inches are cool.
Yeah. So it's the ongoing quest to get everything organized and put in a place where I can really DJ with them and hone my craft.
Are you up to 1,000 yet?
Oh, I'm way past 1,000.
Or should I say, have you bought 1,000 for me yet?
Yeah. Every chance I get, you got something new for me? You got something new for me? So yeah,
sevens are so much fun. I always share the excitement of sevens.
Yeah,
absolutely. And what's your excitement with sevens?
Honestly, of course, when I was growing up, I bought my first record when I was 6 years old, and the first record I bought, actually, I got something cool to show you. So the first record I bought was a 7-inch of George Benson, "Turn Your Love Around."
Turn your love around.
So a friend of mine got this made for me, and I know you can't really see all the different titles. However, these are all 7 inches I bought when I was growing up. I bought my first record when I was 6 and so on and so forth. But either way, right here is the actual first record that I ever bought in my life, which is the actual George Benson, "Turn Your Love Around" 7-inch. But I was, cruel thing to do for some sevens, but before I got into DJing with them, I thought this would be a cool item to actually do. And so this is a cool piece of art that I did with not all, but quite a few of the 45s that I bought when I was in my younger years.
I think I see a Curtis Mayfield in there.
You do. George Benson, Teddy Pendergrass, Patti LaBelle, Von Mason, Rose Royce. Curtis is right here. But actually, no, this is on Staple Singers. Let's do it again.
Oh, okay.
But they were on his label though. Stacey Lattisaw, Commodores, Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing. I don't know what a 6-year-old, 7-year-old was doing buying a 7-inch of Sexual Healing, but Junior, Mama used to say. This is Michael Jackson. Get on the Floor. 7-inch, and Rance Allen, of course. But yeah, I had a oddly strange taste in music as a 6-year-old that put me taking my allowance every week running to the record store. So,
that's cool. And which record store was that? Did you grow up in Raleigh?
No, but during that time it was still Record Bar. It was Record Bar before it switched to anything else, of course. Then of course Record Bar tracks and so on and so forth. But yeah, Record Bar. It was Universal. And then some records up north we had Sam Goody. I never, as a child, I never made it to Tower. Most of my records came from either the Record Bar, and we had 2 local shops. One was called Eclipse Records, which was my favorite store to go into because it had all these cool posters all over the walls. And I can't remember the other one I used to go to that was on Main Street. I like going there too because they embraced me as a kid coming in flipping through records. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So, so it was definitely an experience to be a child going to the record store and my grandmother would go to the meat market a few doors down, and she didn't know, like, she could drop me off at the record store and they would babysit me for a little bit, and I'm flipping through and I have a stack of records. When she comes back, she just pay for them and we go home. So, Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it was always about where could I buy a record that my parents would go.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was Rose's, Food Lion, Kmart.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't until much later that I was able to go to a record bar at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And, just because my parents would go to the mall, and I was like, well, I'm going to run down here. So I did. But it was really neat the day I went to record bar at Cameron Village. And I can't remember what my parents were shopping for at the village, but I snuck over to the record bar, and it was a wonderful day. Yeah.
Yes.
Why don't you show us some cool records that you like?
Well, one of my favorites, a Dionne Warwick album by Dionne Warwick, of course, called Dion. This album in its entirety was actually produced by Barry Manilow.
Wow.
Yeah. And my favorite song on the album is called Deja Vu. But this is a great album if you just want something for easy listening. Earlier in her career, we had to experience the Dionne that was recording with Burt Bacharach. So a lot of her stuff was more classical, big bandish versus this is an actual nice mellow soul album that I really took a liking to compared to some of her other ones. But this is a wonderful album, and like I said, Barry Manilow was a wonderful singer, songmaker in itself. So for him to put it behind Dionne, like this is definitely an incredible album. If you ever can get your hands on it, Adam, I'm sure you have plenty, but this is a wonderful album.
What year is it?
In the store today. 1979.
79.
And it's not filled with disco. So
wow,
that's the wonderful thing.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So wonderful
Let's
album.
say good morning to Stephen. Good morning, Stephen.
Stephen, how are you? Let's see, Byron is a kid. We all got different stories to bring us. You got that right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, you just take it away and show us all the cool stuff.
Okay. Oh, and one last thing for some that didn't know, she was actually a relative of Whitney Houston as well. I'm not sure how many people actually knew that or not, but it's possible if it wasn't for Dionne, Adam, as you said, that there probably wouldn't have been a Whitney. So that whole introduction, because she was actually on Arista as well, which was the label that Whitney ended up being on. Clyde Davis and the whole thing. So next, Tom Brock. I Love You More and More. Definitely a wonderful album. This album was actually produced in its entirety by Barry White. And what year did this album come out? This album came out the year I was born, actually, 1974. Mostly known on this album is let me see. This is the album that was made famous. Just Blaze, of course, produced it, but Jay-Z's song "Girls, Girls, Girls" it was actually sampled from this album right here. However, if you're familiar with the whole 90s run, well, not 90s, 70s run that Barry White had in the different groups and the different artists that he produced and he put out, this was actually one of the better albums that came out during that time, of course, besides Love Unlimited, because his wife was part of that group. This is a rare record to find. You can find a download, of course, on iTunes, or you can find a CD. But I have seen lately that the CD has become harder to find as well. But with today, with streaming and everything, I'm sure you can find it. But this is a very rare record. I spent a nice penny to get it. But yes, wonderful album.
Wonderful. I'm going to look up for that.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, Anthony. Cheers.
Next album.
You better believe it. We do have a real DJ today.
Next album. Hall & Oates. Yes, they look like supermodels. It's not deceiving you. This is a wonderful, wonderful soul album. I found this album just by digging, and the cover just kind of struck me as odd, but I said, okay, it is what it is. But they got their brownie points back once I flipped the cover over and I saw what was on the album. This is the actual album that has Sarah Smile on it. And I was thinking any album that looks like this on the front, but then has a song as cool as Sarah Smile on it, has to be a wonderful album. So I purchased it. I actually loved it. My favorite song on the album, besides that, is Grounds for Separation. This is a nice cross between soul, what do they call it? Blue-eyed soul and funk, actually, on this album, believe it or not. And this came out 1975. So I was 1 year old.
Oh, wow.
Yep. What else you got? You want more, Adam, or?
Yeah. Stephen was saying that Tom Brock album sounds interesting. Sadly, the CD is way out of my price range.
Exactly. I think I found the CD initially when the song was sampled. That was back in roughly 2004. I think I found the CD, and I think I ended up paying like $10 for it. But I ended up paying for the album, the record. I ended up paying about $40 for it. And I just love it. It's just one of those things I doubt I ever part with, because it's just a wonderful, wonderful soul album. But there are people that have it out there that don't know what it is, and you may find it. You know how those things happen.
Did it go up in value because of Jay-Z?
It did because when I purchased the CD, ironically, they put a sticker on it and it said sampled by Jay-Z, Girls, Girls, Girls. It was a round sticker on the CD itself, and which of course it was a reissue. But the sticker on it actually pointed out Girls, Girls, Girls. So that took the value up. There are a couple of other songs on there that were sampled as well, but again, sonically, the entire album is incredible. Like Barry outdid himself when he produced that album. Like it's definitely an incredible album.
Very cool.
Yep, 50 to 200. So oddly enough, the late Marvin Gaye put out 2 live albums. However, this is my favorite one of the 2. They contain some of the same songs, but it's something about this album that the instrumentation, I don't know if he was just in a different place in his career. I mean, both albums are popular, but this is my particular favorite album. And I do have it, on my computer, but it doesn't do it justice. Like, it's to hear this on vinyl and to actually play it through a great system. It sounds incredible. I don't have a favorite song on the album. I literally play one side, it's over. I flip it over to the other side. And this Marvin Gaye live album is definitely incredible. So if you ever go find it, there's one, I think, where he is actually standing full body centered on the cover. So make sure if you're looking for Marvin Gaye live, you're not fooled by the other one. Great album. Adam, have you ever heard this one?
I have. I think I have a copy of it. The other one is live in London or something.
Yes.
I don't like that one at all.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that one's the one. Yeah, I agree with you there, sir.
Yeah. So, and Sybil. I don't know what else I could say. What I could say about Sybil. She's probably one of the unsung heroes of late 80s, early 90s R&B. I love this album. I'm not sure if she had another album after this. But she had so many hits off of this particular album that I felt the need to spread this with the world. And with you, Adam, this morning. Ironically enough, her first hit was "Don't Make Me Over," which was a Dionne Warwick song remake. So, and I didn't think about that until I just, I'm showing it right now. However, "Don't Make Me Over," "Walk On By," which was, of course, a remake of Isaac Hayes. "Crazy for You," she remade. "I Want to Be Where You Are," of course, that was, Michael Jackson. But this is a wonderful album if you're really into that 90s R&B. Greetings from Facebook side. These are all great records. I believe it's your time, Bob.
Good morning, Sean. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. So, and again, my music taste is great morning, Sean, by the way. My music taste is not just, one dimensional. I'm all over the place. I do have some rock records in my collection. When we start getting into different styles and different sounds that I prefer to hear depending upon my mood. My actual favorite style of music, though, is jazz. So I have an extremely large jazz collection. And that's pretty much where I gravitate to. I think that is really what keeps me anchored as a DJ and musically sound, and that's really what got me into listening for the quality of music versus just hearing it come out of the speakers. And it's a totally different thing. Some people think, oh, I bought a record. Oh, I got some speakers. I'm going to enjoy it. Well, maybe per your standards, but it just depends.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of DJ, let's take a look at this.
Yes.
DJ Billy Billo.
That's a handsome guy right there.
So you're doing some live streaming on Instagram as well as Mixcloud.
Yes. So every day, as most people know, we as DJs are out of work. There are no club gigs. There's, I think they're trying to do weddings again now, but there's really our workload went like it was cut 100%. Like it didn't go down 10% or gradually. It was just cut 100% overnight. So one day I woke up and I realized I needed to stay loose. I needed to continue to do something instead of just sitting at home and, oh man, I'm ready to DJ something. So I decided to log on one day during lunch. I was trying to figure out the best time. So I logged on during lunch one day and I had a extremely large amount of people that were viewing. So I said, oh, this was a good thing. So let me do it the next day. The next day, same thing. Okay, let me do it one more day and see what happens. The next day, same thing. Because again, when the quarantine happened, we couldn't go anywhere anyway. So I was just at home doing nothing. So once I saw that it worked 3 days in a row, I decided, okay, what can we call it? What is the theme? And so initially I just call it, let's call it the Lunchtime Mix. So basically, as the days went on, I started giving each day a theme. So whenever you tune in, whether if it's Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, you have something to listen to. You don't have to tune in every day. You can just tune in to your favorite day. And so it's something that caught on. It's something that I am trying to figure out if I ever want to pull from it. How can I do such without just going cold turkey? Because I've grown a following with doing such, and I promise you, if something happens, I have an appointment or something of that nature, my text messages come through. I'm getting DMs through Instagram like, hey, you're not getting on today. So by by all means, stop by 12 noon to 1 p. Monday through Friday. Today is Thursday. Yeah, so remember this on Thursday. So I might play some of these records that, I just talked about, hear some of these tunes. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let's say hello to Mike. Good morning, Mike. Cheers for stopping by.
Mike, good morning.
John says, I'm a huge jazz guy myself. I'd love to see some of your favorite jazz records. Woohoo! And Anthony was asking if you could throw the link in
for Mixcloud?
for your lunchtime mix.
Yes.
So if you put it in the private chat, I can throw it on there for you.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for joining. And you will be you'll be going live in just a bit over 3 hours.
Yes.
And so hopefully you guys will be able to check them out. Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to give me a minute. I'm pulling the link up. Jazz wise, it really saddened me when Nancy Wilson passed. Because she I love instrumental jazz, and there's not too many vocal jazz albums that I really get into. But the Nancy Wilson Kaleidoscope album is one of my favorites by her. Definitely an incredible album. The first song is what resonated inside of me, which is called The Greatest Performance of My Life. And it just put me in a space and place of, when I'm out, or when I was out and I was DJing festivals and extremely large venues, and just being able to control that large room or that large space of people. So when you, if you ever listen to that song by Nancy Wilson, like it just put me in that space and place that made me say, you know what, I need to give the rest of this album a listen, and I just absolutely fell in love. Yeah. So I'm trying to think if I have any actual jazz albums upstairs with me. Because I have downstairs I have a actual turntable set up, and I have most of my favorite records in the console with the turntable. So I happen to pull some of these out of that console so I can show them for you all this morning. So I'm just trying to think if I have any near me. But
there's always part two. There's always part two.
Yes, that they are. Yeah. So, but yeah, Adam, I try to stay busy, and I try to keep things going, and just, keep moving.
Absolutely. I popped this up a little bit earlier. Tell us a little bit about that. What's your favorite turntable?
That would be the 1200.
Oh, yeah.
That is the Technique 1200. That I am fortunate enough. That's only 12 of them. That was after I put them all in the shop, got them all serviced, got the wires changed and cleaned out and everything. These were for my DJ school, my classes that I teach, for anyone who wants to learn how to DJ. Right now, we started back classes. We do one-on-one classes so we can have the whole social distancing thing going on. But again, the name of the school is Mix, and I try to take that and use it across the platform. Case in point, Lunchtime Mix, MIXX. but yeah, we teach class. We do it on your schedule. And we have some people that have some knowledge, then we have people that have zero knowledge. But the main thing is when you come take the class, once you are done, you come out, and I mean, you're not going to go and, be in somebody's club or, something of that nature, but you have all the fundamental skills that you need to take you to that next level, for you to go home, for you to practice, for you to hone your skills and do what you need to do. You're more than welcome to come back for a second session where we teach you the fundamentals of scratching and other things. But the basic skills you need to learn, you come in that first session, which is 5 classes, and it's a wonderful thing. We've been successful with doing that, and I encourage anybody that wants to learn, to definitely reach out. We're on all social media platforms, and you definitely can learn some things. I'm still trying to get this link up for you, Adam.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm gonna ask you a question, if you don't mind. When did you first realize that a record could be scratched? For me, I heard Rocket by Herbie Hancock, and I was like, what's making that little, and I was like, what is that noise? And I never figured that out until years later. And when I saw a DJ live and he was doing this and then, I was like, aha, that's where that sound came from. But that was my first introduction.
For me, it was the movie Beat Street.
Oh, yeah. Which yes. I didn't see. Yeah.
You haven't seen Beat Street?
Well, I didn't at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Years later, yeah.
Yeah, it was the movie Beat Street. And I tell this story all the time. If it was not for that movie, you would not be sitting here talking to me right now. Yeah, if it wasn't for that movie. Because once I saw that movie, I said, that's what I want to do.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you ever offer virtual classes?
We have not started such, because what ends up happening is I find that a lot of my students don't have equipment. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have equipment, it's almost impossible for you to learn. So if you have equipment, then sure, we could possibly, do a virtual class. But again, it's all about having the equipment, and we supply the equipment for you. So whether I have some people that want to learn on turntables, I have some people that want to learn on controllers, which is one piece of equipment that just plugs in USB to your laptop. Sometimes people will ask me what my opinion is. I would suggest using a controller. One, it's easier on your pockets. And 2, it's less equipment to buy and things that you have to worry about. Yep. So
if you had a list of proper equipment to have, and someone said, I like to do it, I got everything I need.
Yep. We can do it. Then we can do it.
There you go. I like the movie Breaking also, but yeah, you're right. There is a little bit of an investment. And Billy, if you're like me, you started just buying one piece at a time, and then over the years you've gotten stuff, and which is a lot different than if you're 21 years old and you're like, I'm going to buy it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Breaking was a great movie as well.
Good morning, Ron.
Hey, Ron. Great morning. It was either earlier this year or last year. And I think, Adam, I talked to you about the movie series that we were as well. And so I was doing research, and I found out, and I was 10 years old when these movies came out, but I found out last year that hey, love, Breaking and Beat Street came out the same year. They both came out in '84. And that I didn't realize. And then on top of that, Breaking came out the beginning part of the year, and then Breaking 2 came out at the end of the year, the same year, same physical year. So they kind of did got Breaking Out. B Street came out, then Breaking 2 came out right after.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good morning, love.
Great morning.
Yeah.
Did you get the link? I put the link up.
I'll get it. Yeah. I heard Beat Street. Love, love, love that movie.
Yes.
Yes. Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo. Yeah. What about House Party?
House Party. I was in high school. I think I was in the 10th grade. I actually remember myself and a group of friends of mine talking about it all day. And I remember us catching the bus to the movie theater. Like we had to find something to do after school, so we didn't go home. And then we called up I think the movie started maybe 6 something, pushing 7 o'clock. But I remember us just hanging out and then catching the bus to the movie theater. And I just remember that it was a Friday night, and I just remember it being so packed to the rim. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that was 1990. Hilarious.
Yeah.
I never listened to Lisa the Same anymore. There you go. Hey, folks, here's the link for DJ Billy Bill's Mixcloud.
Thank you for posting that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, rock and roll. Thank everybody for coming out, hanging out with us this morning. Appreciate it a bunch. Yes. All right. What else we got? What wonderful goodness are you gracing us with today?
I don't know. I'm just glad to be alive, man. You know, I saw a post, the other day that says something like, we used to say that every day is a struggle, just to get through and live life and enjoy it. But, if nothing else, from March to now September, it has taught us that life is a gift. It's not owed to us, and that we have to treat it with respect and respect others. Some get it, some don't, but it has just really put a different insight to how I wake up every morning, how I go to sleep at night, and how I speak to people, how I, engage people. Because, what we're going through as a nation, the world, of course, but as a nation is something that I definitely hadn't seen in my lifetime. I don't know if I will see it again in my lifetime. So, I just want to, and again, that's what the Lunchtime Mix is about. I just want to give people a break. If you're working from home, if you're going to the office, at 12 o'clock noon every day, you can just relax. If you enjoy the style of music that I play, you can just relax and just enjoy. I don't play anything new. Everything I play is pretty much old. And it could be anywhere. And one day I may be over here, the next day I may be over here. So it just depends. And I mix in jazz, I mix in, some rock, I mix in old school, I mix in reggae, I mix in just a little bit of everything, alternative. It just depends upon what I'm feeling like on that particular day. Yeah. So, but more than anything, I'm just ready to get back to hosting the movie series that we were doing, and just bringing some of the old classics back again and really pushing that envelope. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yes. So
you have some more records to show us?
Yes, a few more.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Let's see what I have here. DJ Rogers. Take this plastic sleeve off. Yes, DJ Rogers. I initially never heard of DJ Rogers until I actually got some of his records and I listened to him. And initially, what attracted me to him was the fact that it said DJ. So I said, oh, maybe he was a DJ, and let me listen to the records and see what he has going on. That was first glance, but once I listened to it, I just realized that DJ was short for something. I don't know what it's short for, but he was an incredible artist. I have quite a few of his albums, and he definitely made some great music. I definitely suggest that you all, look him up and see if he has something that's wonderful that you would like to play and like to share with some people.
Absolutely. Stephen's saying life is so tough now, but you all need to hear voices like Russell Tompkins Jr., the stylistics to make life better. But he is one of the many voices that bring us joy. Absolutely.
That is correct. The stylistics is it's so much music in the world. And that's another thing that I say during the lunchtime mix. Like, we all have our own personal collections at home. We all have our CDs that we ride to in the car. We have our flash drives that we have, or we XM radio, things of that nature. But it's something about when you go to a restaurant and you hear that song that you haven't heard in a while, or that song comes on the radio that you haven't heard in a while, that just takes you back to a certain point that you were at during the time that song came out. And that's what I try to resonate, not only when I'm DJing festivals and venues, or bars or whatever, but especially I hate to keep referring back to the lunchtime mix, but I do it again for, I like to say I do it for the people, because again, a lot of us are stuck at home or working from home, and we all need an outlet. So I try to make sure I play things that make you forget, just for a moment at least, for that 1 hour you have a release. And I've definitely have picked up listeners from Japan. A guy chimed in yesterday from Belgium. I have regular listeners from the UK, all over. I have people California, Colorado, just people I would have never come in contact with, one, if it wasn't for COVID, for one. So, I tell people, don't necessarily look at COVID as a bad thing. Sometimes life needs to be reset so you can get out of your everyday hustle and bustle. So see if you can turn a positive out of a negative. It said, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So what can we do to feel better about our current situation instead of moping the whole time? So I'm just trying to do my part and make sure that people understand. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, I've gone through last time.
Beautiful moment. Yeah.
So Mike, I'm on the East Coast.
Billy makes me want to dig deeper into Barry White's productions. Yeah.
Yes, there's while you're looking for that, cross-reference him with Gene Page. Gene Page was the conductor of the orchestra, the Love Unlimited Orchestra. So there are quite a few branch offs from that whole, from Barry White to Love Unlimited Orchestra, Gene Page, Tom Brock. There was another guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he looks like Terrence Howard. But there are a lot of branch offs, the same way George Clinton did Parliament Funkadelic, Brass Frankenstein, and so on and so forth. Bootsy, you know. But yeah, it's a lot of things that came from underneath Barry.
Very cool.
Thanks for the follow, Stephen. So, Adam, you familiar with this one?
Oh yeah, Karen White.
Yes. This is one of the albums, you know, a lot of times I think this album came out in 88, 87, 88, somewhere in there. Sometimes you'll find that sometimes you'll find that 80s R&B sounds dated. You know, like Jody Watley, for instance. Like, you know, if you're looking for that sound, if you want that retro, you know, that's where you are. But what happens is, I know that I think her first album sounded more dated versus her second album, which they really put a lot into, a lot of better production. And then it makes that album be classic, such as Whitney Houston's first album and so on and so forth. Same thing happened with Karen White. And she was backed by LA and Babyface. And this album is an incredible, 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 incredible album that is not dated at all. If you've never heard this album, I implore you to please listen to this album. Great. It's a great album. If you into vinyl, you can find it. It won't be expensive at all, but it is definitely an incredible album. And yes, I love Superwoman was a wonderful song on there. The Way You Love Me, Secret Rendezvous. This is a wonderful album. Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. I can listen to some Dobie Gray.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, I didn't know that they were brothers, so that's news to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Ron.
Yes.
That's the best album of Karen White.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
cool.
I would agree with that. Well, they did do an album called no, that was Babyface. Never mind. I'm sorry. So yes, I would agree with that. Best album by her.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I think I went through my whole stack.
Man, that's a record. Thanks.
Yes. I mean, I have plenty of records around me, but you know, these are some of the ones I picked out so I could share today.
What do you look for when you're out crate digging and you look for sevens? Well, of course, something you don't have, and of course, something that catches your eye. But
yes,
you know what can someone who's interested in sevens and why are sevens so cool and so cool? Why are they so cool?
Well, one major thing that people need to know about 7-inch records is that 8 times out of 10, it's going to be a different version that's on the LP. Mm-hmm. The reason being is because you really, I think the theory was you could only get about 5 minutes roughly on each side of a 7-inch record. But you didn't want to take it all the way to the 5 minutes. So sometimes it's 4 and change or whatever the case may. But the wonderful thing, like I said, about 7-inch records is there are different versions, there are different edits. And you know, if you ever been into 12 inches, sometimes on a 12-inch, it will say the 12-inch edit, and then it'll have the 7-inch edit on there as well. For people that wanted that other version. So you wouldn't have to buy both. Now, that was something that I forgot about prior to me starting to buy 7s again. But that's the first thing, first and foremost, that's what I look for. To find a record that I don't already have. Sometimes I'll buy records that I already have because, especially if it's cheap. Because if something happens, it cracks it, you scratch it or whatever the case may be, at least I have a backup. Because they're starting to become, certain ones are starting to become more and more rare and harder to find. The second thing I look for is whether it's something called Serene or if it's actual vinyl. And the difference is Serene, after so many plays, especially if you're back queuing, you will find that it will start to have static in that particular spot that you back queued in. And even sometimes after a certain amount of plays, it will start to lose its resonance. So I definitely try to avoid Serene. Sometimes you can't, because sometimes the presses, Def Jam, Columbia, they were notorious. Jive were notorious for using Serene because it was a cheaper alternative instead of using vinyl. How do you tell the difference? If you let's grab one here.
I was looking for a 7.
If the side is thick, the 9 times out of 10 is Serene. If it's a thin side, then more than likely it's vinyl. That's the easiest way to determine one of the other. If you're just going to just do some gradual playing, putting the needle on and let it go, you're probably going to be okay. But that's the easiest way to tell it.
And sometimes the edge is flat on the sides.
Yes, exactly.
And sometimes you see little dots all the way around, like an outline.
Yep, exactly.
And the ones that turn white are mostly the Serene. Yes.
Yep.
And there's some LPs, 12-inch vinyl that's Serene.
Yes. Yeah. Haven't come in contact with many of those, but I do have some. Yeah, and that's the DJ's worst nightmare.
And if you find a 7-inch that's in a sleeve and it's got the jukebox tag sticking up,
yes,
most of the times that's Serene, and most of the time you want to put it back.
Yes. And that's the wonderful thing as well. Like later, when we talked about what I look for, sometimes I actually look for the jukebox vinyl, because especially in the 2000s, like the 2008, 9, 10, somewhere in there, they started making records only for the 7 inches, only for jukeboxes. So, and you couldn't get it any other way. So if you didn't find a record store that bought a jukebox vendor's collection, or if you can't find it from a jukebox vendor, some things are just extremely hard to find. And I just been on a quest to just build my collection up, because again, I got bored with DJing, honestly. I started with vinyl. I switched over to laptop, and I just got bored. Like I needed a challenge. So I said, you know what, let me go back to vinyl. But however, with the emergence of 7-inch, there you go, jukebox, jukebox label. Yeah,
I think they're cool. And if you have a jukebox at home, there's programs where you can print your own. But
yeah,
these are the cool ones.
Yeah. I have a whole box. I have a box of them. And
that's so true about the 90s 7-inches. You find lots of coolness on the Tom Petty, Babyface.
Yes.
It just goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
Madonna.
U2, Matchbox 20, Maroon 5, Marcy's Playground, Jennifer Lopez, again, as Lou Bega, so I have quite a bit.
And most of them have a white label.
Say it again.
Most of them have a white label.
Yes, exactly. And and then the other thing that I look for, is color vinyl as well. So I'm trying to. Yep. So just in case you're wondering what this is. Yep. So I look for a lot of.
I'm sure just like you, when you're digging through sevens, you're like, oh, let me see if this one's a colored vinyl or not. And you get to, if you see a 7-inch picture sleeve with stars, like, let's see if it's the yellow one. And every Prince I run across and every Madonna, let's see if it's colored. Absolutely.
Yeah. Adam, I don't know if you remember, probably the first or the second time we met, I came in your shop and I said, is there a particular place that you have all your color vinyl in? And you looked at me like, no. So, I just thought, I said, maybe he just do all the work for me and I could just go in and find all the color vinyl. And then I realized, nah, man, you got to put the work in. And I was just, hey, it's worth a try.
Then when you're digging for 7 with colored vinyl, you find 5 other ones you want.
Yes. And I've gotten to the point now. Where I just buy them every time I see a color 7. I just buy it, just because I just like color 7s at this point.
Well, that first one you showed, I don't remember all the rules, but I think it was RCA or either Columbia. They were identifying certain genres by a certain color of the vinyl.
Yeah, because I have a lot of RCA. Yeah, I have a lot of RCAs that are red. Every now and then I find one with a cool color, green. But I promise you, every time I can find something, is one that's white. Here's a cool one.
That is cool. Who's the artist?
The Five Satans.
Okay.
And Curtis Lee is on the other side. I think it's a Beach record, actually.
I was going to say that's beach music, Stephen. Stephen loves some beach music. And we found that some of the Memory Lane labels, they would repop a record and they would put one artist on one side and one artist on the other side.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Richard Marx.
Don't forget there were the Beatles that were colored like that also.
Look at that. Who is it?
Paul McCartney, I'm guessing. Yep.
Yeah. Just so happy you said the Beatles. So yeah, I just and I found them in different shades.
That's one of those ones that's color coded.
Yes. It's another RCA. Yeah. So there's the red RCA and then of course the green. But that's pretty much now. Every time I am out digging, if I find a color 7, then I get it. Like there is nothing to talk about. I don't care who it is. I'm just into collecting color 7s now.
Have you ever walked in a store and says, "Oh no, let me cancel my next appointment. I got a day and a half here."
I did that. I wanted to do that on Monday. However, I couldn't, but I did cancel half of my day. And so I have to go back because I did find a lot of wonderful titles. I just got to go back and finish what I started. So
was this a private dig or was it a store?
No, it was a store. It was a store. Cool. And you find little strange stuff,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love
that. I'm trying to figure out these maybe 5s.
Yeah.
5 inches, yes. Mm-hmm. Sweet Talking Woman single release, color vinyl purple. Yeah. Elo's a nice guy. Like he's great music.
Absolutely. I love some ELO myself too. Yeah. And then the 5-inch record you showed probably played at 78 RPMs.
Let me see. I honestly, I don't think I even looked at them.
Or 16 or 33. Anyway, they're cool. You know, you know Ann. Ann loves getting a hold of some colored vinyl, and she'll make anything with it, especially a clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna make me play these to see what speed they play on, so I'll let you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally cool, yeah. I love digging through some 7s. I love playing 7s. It takes some time. Absolutely. And I think you and I have talked about it before, but there was a time in the 40s and 50s, maybe the 50s, that you could buy just a little stacker. It was probably 8 or 9 inches wide, and you put it in your. Most people connected it to their television, and you could stack up some 7s and play them. They're very unique. They're kind of hard to find that are working properly. Have you gotten one of those yet?
No. No, I am trying my best to organize all of my extracurricular collecting because I have quite a bit. So you know, and that's a wonderful thing about collectors, especially, you know, we as music collectors, we're fascinated, you know, by things that go boom, you know. And you know, I remember, I have no idea where they are now. I don't even know what I did with them. I can't even remember what I did with them. But I remember when I was in high school, I had about maybe 3 tape decks stacked up just beside my equipment, and all of them were on record and pause at the same time because I just like to see the LEDs. I like to see lights jump.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I thought I was doing something. I wasn't recording anything, but I just like to see the lights jump and just like, oh man, that is so cool. And so every day when I would practice, the same thing every day. Record and pause. And yeah, that was wonderful times for me. And you know, even now, I still try my best to just never forget something as simple as putting a piece of vinyl on and just letting it play and just enjoying it. Puts you in a different space because, you know, as wonderful as CDs are, you know, it was a curse for us as well because they gave us the ability to skip. You know, yes, we had fast forward on a cassette. Yes, we had jump to the next program on an 8-track. Yes, you could take the record and move it over to the next song if you wanted to, but the most of the time, even if you had a reel-to-reel, most of the time we would just put it on, let it play, enjoy it, and then once it's done, we would flip it over and continue on. And that's one thing that I truly enjoy about vinyl, is that once I put it on, and I've been in your store and you've let things play, and I'm like, hey man, what's that you're playing? Because sometimes the album cuts are what get you, not necessarily the hit, you know, and you know, so that's why we're there.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I miss those days of popping records on and letting people say, ooh. And it's kind of like, what was it, High Fidelity? There was this joke like, watch me sell 3 copies of this record. They pop it on, and you know, and it's just, but it is so true to walk into a store. I remember I was, we all had those experiences, walking to a record shop and hear something like, what is that? Postal Service for me. And I was like, whoa, Postal Service. They're cool. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. Well, wow, it's been an hour. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today, DJ Billy Bill. And I want to encourage everyone to go over and check out his show and just coming up really soon. This is Instagram show and his Mixcloud show live today at noon Eastern Coast, and today is Thursday. So today we reminisce. So,
Exactly. We reminisce. And
yeah.
hi Deborah. She late start.
Well, you're gonna have a good one for the playback. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
Billy Bill is a cool cat.
Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate you.
For me, it was Glenn Clark, no other. Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Deborah, cheers. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Yeah. I had a blast. Any final words? Any wisdom to us instill upon us today?
Well,
can we get a shirt like that to wear?
Yes, I remember I talked to you a few weeks ago. I said I had to remind myself of what size shirt that you wear, so I can get you one. I just been meaning to get you one. I got to bring it over. So I have it. I just gotta bring it over to you now. So yeah. we'll get you squared away.
For people who don't know, DJ Billy Bill has earned bonus points by visiting not only the Raleigh location but the Wake Forest location. And one of these days you're gonna get down to I-95 and check that place out when you're traveling.
Yes. So you said any words to sing you off with? It's a motto or quote. Thanks, Deborah. Appreciate you. It's a quote from Bob Marley that that stands out to me. The late great Bob Marley. And it says, one good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yes. So yes, that's where we at. What do I need to do, Adam? They want to inquire about this shirt.
Yeah.
My email.
Would you like to share your email?
Yes, I'll type it in.
I'll put it in the chat. Just tell me.
djbillybill@gmail.com.
Okay, Billy Bill@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is, folks. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so, there's my email. If anyone is interested in a shirt, I have them ready. They're packaged already. So I just contact me and we'll get them out to you. I think, was it Mike that said that he wanted to take the class? I think it was.
It was Bluegrass Picker Anthony.
Bluegrass Picker Anthony. So there's my email as well if you want to contact me about the class. Just let me know and we'll set it up. You're welcome, love.
Yeah. I totally agree with Love on this, and I do appreciate everybody hanging out with us. And Billy, will you come back another time?
I will. Just let me know.
Absolutely.
And we'll set it up, and I have a whole new stack of records, and I'll make sure I bring some jazz.
Yeah, maybe one day I can get you and Sean on here together, and you and Sean can talk about jazz and things like that. Folks, I'm looking for guests. I'm looking for you to be a guest. If you have 10 records, show me 10 records that you enjoy. It's all about what you enjoy, and in a non-judgmental capacity, and cool things like that. Because I'm wanting to learn myself, and the more I can learn, the more I can learn. And why don't you go ahead and show you a really cool piece of art?
I was just going to say, just in case they joined late, when we were talking about sevens, this is a mirror piece of art that I got made. And these are actual records that I bought as a child. And this is actually, well, let me get here. Nope, here. This is the actual first record I ever bought in my lifetime. I was 6 years old when I bought this. George Benson, Turn Your Life Around. Well, Turn Your Love Around, excuse me. But yeah, this is I just wanted to share this. We were talking about sevens and having that whole conversation. So, but again, I appreciate Adam you having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it a bunch, and I hope you've been enjoying your coffee this morning, because I've been enjoying mine and the vinyl too, and cool things like that. So yeah. So folks, thank you so much. There you go. There's one more comment coming in. That's amazing, says Deborah. That is amazing. Yeah, Deborah. Hope things are going well for you with the weather. She's on the West Coast, and I hope your friend's doing okay with the fires. Her friend has horses. And it's amazing how we get to know each other, even though we're a couple hundred miles away. More than that.
And that's what I was telling you earlier. You're like, it's amazing that how people can find us just through the internet and just through just networking and sharing. Yes, Stephen. These were the actual copies of the original records that I purchased. Yes. Like I said, this particular one is the very first record I bought with my allowance. If I remember correctly, it was $1.98, tax included. My allowance during that time, I was 6 years old, was $5. So, this is the very first record I ever bought in my life. But this is actually my part of my initial collection of me growing up. Yes.
That is awesome. How many's on there? 1, 2, 3, 12. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Your first dozen. So there you go. Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah. So there we go. Hey, Stephen is also on the West Coast. He was talking to Deborah, and Deborah says it's been crazy weird. So you guys be careful out there. We're thinking about you. The sky has been so eerie. Yeah. Stephen's in Sacramento. He had a story that he shared with us. He ordered I think he ordered a CD from a seller who was in Sacramento, and it took 3 weeks to get to his house. So there you go.
Wow, that's crazy.
Here's a question. Music was in your blood at a young age. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. Believe it or not, I played my first, according to my mother's story, I played my first record when I was 3. So, and of course, that was during a time when I don't know who came up with this idea, but somebody thought it was okay to stack up a bunch of sevens like this. And then, of course, the hook would come around and, everything was automated. So it would hold it. So basically what would happen is I would stack up a bunch of records, and I would sit in front of the stereo all day and just listen to them. And of course, the needle would come over and it would come back. And then one would drop down. Then the needle would come back and play it out, and so on and so forth. So if I stacked up a good 10 records, that there was plenty of time that my mother had an in-house babysitter that she didn't have to pay for. Yeah.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So definitely, I will be back. I appreciate everybody that tuned in this morning, and I appreciate you listening to me and some of my stories and allowing me to share with you all this morning. It's definitely appreciated. I don't take anything for granted, man. I definitely appreciate you all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I remember playing stacks.
Yeah.
Folks, I have a Technics 1950 or whatever it is, and it's a stacker. And I'm one of those people that I don't mind grabbing some budget records and stacking them to the sky and let them play. And whenever I do that, people are like, "What is that?" And so it's wonderful. And I do have a little I don't know, sound design or whatever that's a stacker. I'll grab a whole bunch of sevens and stack them, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm still mesmerized by that. Yeah.
Adam, here's something that you didn't know about me. You see that?
Oh, he got a spider on your. That is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a shame it's not bright. It's a shame it's not bright yellow.
Nah, I didn't think the ink would show up, so I just got it black. Yeah.
But we'll probably have neon tattoo colors or something like that in the future, where it's.
I'm sure.
It could be already.
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, glow in the dark.
Turn that thing off. There you go. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. Thank